This is a presentation on integrative behavioral couples therapy based on a case study adaptation of Frank by Vaughan Milner. Frank is a conservative, intelligent, 43-year-old executive. He has been married for 23 years with his wife, Alice, and he has two young children. Frank has been experiencing marital problems. He really loved adventure and excitement, and he wanted to travel the world and go on adventures. But his wife did not seem to enjoy the same things that he does. Frank began to go individual counseling to explore the possibility of leaving his wife for an online companion. He felt like she provided the adventure and excitement he was looking for. Frank met this woman online. She was fun, she was daring, she was sexually expressive, and although she was married, they often engaged in cybersex together. Although he attempted to spend time with his family on the weekends, he would often sneak off to spend time on the internet with his mistress. During the time Frank was in counseling, he was also arranging to meet with his online companion at a hotel, and the two engaged in bondage sex together. However, Frank was a little concerned that the woman began to mention bringing her husband along for the experience. He felt like it was interfering with advancing his relationship with her. Over time, Frank spent less and less time online with his mistress. However, he did have moments when he was tempted to log on, especially when there were distressing or disappointing moments at home. As time passed, Frank began to realize the magnitude of his mistake and was heartbroken about his marriage. He discussed the affair with his wife, and they both decided to seek marital counseling. Needless to say, they both had a lot of issues they need to talk about, and they were both very, very upset. Alice felt that Frank was irresponsible. He was always looking to have fun, and she felt like he never wanted to engage in the responsibilities of being a father. She was, of course, also furious about the affair. Frank felt like Alice was too uptight, too tired for him, and she didn't even seem to care about their marriage anymore. So, step 1 of IBCT is identifying and reframing incompatibilities. After the couple has disclosed the presenting problem, the therapist should identify and reframe the seemingly unchangeable incompatibilities to minimize the damaging effects. The therapist should identify destructive patterns that distress the relationship. Frank and Alice have many incompatibilities. Frank enjoys excitement. He likes to seek adventure. He finds that work is boring and often wants to enjoy his time off. And he is a bit of a dynamic romantic. On the other hand, Alice enjoys stability and prioritizes taking care of her kids. As she is a successful professional, she finds work is stressful and often wants to relax at home during her time off. She is also a calm and inexpressive person. Step 2. After identifying and reframing the problems into incompatibilities, the second step is to move the couple into unified detachment, part 1 of acceptance intervention. Unified detachment promotes a shift in perspective within partners. It moves partners from viewing each other as crazy or bad to understanding how they have each contributed to their problems. The goal of this stage is to have partners become less negatively reactive in their interactions. The therapist may ask, how do you think your incompatibilities influence the way you two interact? How might they contribute to your problems? Frank is challenged to consider how the way he is trying to help is actually causing Alice more stress. By considering Alice's position, he comes to understand that him trying to get her to go on vacation is more tiring than relaxing. Alice realizes that her belittling and short-tempered towards Frank is difficult for him, especially since she does not share with him the stress she experiences at work, and she only opens her mouth to snap at him. Step 3. Empathic joining is the second part of acceptance intervention. The therapist encourages the couple to share with each other the fears and vulnerabilities that make the conflict so loaded for them. Each partner is encouraged to share the soft emotions that are beneath the hard surface emotions, such as anger and irritability. In empathic joining, individuals begin to empathize with their partners and realize that they are also in emotional pain. This is where they begin to reach out and offer support to each other. Frank feels that every time Alice rejects him, it makes him feel inadequate. When she doesn't tell him why she's stressed, he feels like she can't trust him and he's not good enough for her. Alice says that her hostility is because she feels a lack of support. When Frank doesn't pull his weight at home, she comes back after a long day of work and has so much to do. She has to cook, clean, and put the kids to bed. She feels that Frank doesn't care about their family, and she feels very alone. Step 4. Tolerance building begins to reveal to the couple that the qualities we admire in our partners can also be the source of conflict. The therapist focuses on the interaction pattern instead of dealing with the presenting problem. Tolerance building focuses on emotional acceptance towards each other's incompatibilities. For instance, we see here that Alice is preparing food for dinner, and Frank again is not helping. Moreover, Frank is playing games on his phone and is also suggesting that they go on vacation because she's been working hard. Alice takes a moment to acknowledge the negatives, but also considers the positives in this situation. She realizes that, although he isn't helping preparing for dinner, he means well and is concerned for her well-being. She knows he cares, so she decides to verbalize and ask for help. Frank is overjoyed at Alice expressing herself and is more than glad to help. Tolerance building also reminds couples to prepare for inevitable slip-ups in behavior. Although they mean well, sometimes things just don't go the way we expect. We can see that Frank and Alice forgot that the incompatibilities between them once had real advantages. Frank was attracted to Alice's stability, and Alice was attracted to Frank's zest for life. However, over time they forgot about these qualities they previously admired, and they became the source of their conflict. Integrative behavioral couples therapy integrates the goals of change and the emotional acceptance between the couple so that they are better equipped to change their patterns of interactions into more positive ones.